So you think you want to start carnivore. I have the most perfect basic staple food that you could probably start out with and highly succeed right from the start. If you do this one thing, I would say once or twice a week. And that would be a very affordable cut of meat. And you'll have to have one of these Dutch ovens. You don't have to, but I'll tell you what, it's super simple with that. And these are the ingredients, and I'll put a list in the video description and in the video in a few minutes. So, carnivore, animal-derived food. As you can see, these flavorings and seasonings are not animal-derived, but they do enhance the flavor. Some people can tolerate them, some people can't. So take your pick. And as a browning oil, I'm going to use bacon grease so that I can stay within the carnivore confines of not using plant-based things to cook this food with. So basically what we have here is I'm going to sear the meat in a minute in the bacon grease in the crock pot. Well, I call it crock pot, you know, Dutch oven. And this is called a chuck shoulder roast. And it is a very affordable cut of meat. And the thicker that you can get it, the better off you're going to be. So after I brown it on all sides without using any flour or anything on the outside of it except some of these seasonings, I'm going to put it in there with the lid on it and put it in the oven at 300 degrees for 3 hours. That will cook the meat down to ability to be shredded and be used in almost any dish you can imagine. You can make beef tacos, beef anything, and your beef will be so delicious you can just eat it by itself, which is the whole concept of carnivore. I got this beautiful piece of beef at Sam's Club. It came in 3 pieces like this in one package. And the entire package, I believe, and this was in May of 2024, this month, and I believe it was about $26 for all 3 pieces. And this is a lot of food. It will not shrink very much at all, and it will be very, very tasty. So I'm getting the pan very hot. I'm going to put this bacon grease in it. Before I put it in the pan, I'm going to season the outside of the meat with all of these except the Worcestershire sauce. That will go in a few minutes. When I put the pan in the oven, I'm going to just put plain water about halfway to 2/3 of the way up the sides. So this being real life and a senior citizen cooking, what we had there was a little tiny bit of an emergency. I had talked so long that the pan got so overheated that I had to kind of take it off for a couple minutes here. And I turned the burner down to about halfway. I haven't put the bacon grease in because I don't want to burn it. Now I'm going to season the meat. Before I put the garlic all over it, I just wanted to show you how it looks. And there is a little controversy in the world. Some people do not salt beef before they sear it. That's a personal preference. It has something to do with drying it out. But since we're cooking it, basically kind of braising it in water in the oven, it's not going to dry out, I guarantee you. I kind of evenly distributed the flavorings on top, and now I'm going to put them on the other side of the meat before I start searing it. I put about 5 teaspoons of bacon grease in there, and of course, like I said, I turned this down quite a bit. It may not sear very well down there, but it's better than burning up the whole house, right? I'm laughing, but I'm not. I'm laughing, but I'm crying. After I put the meat in there, I'm going to take all this extra seasoning and throw it in. No sense in wasting anything, right? Here we go. My favorite fork to cook with. It's so big. It came with a silverware set that I got a while back. I think it was Oneida. Actually, it looks like it was brand X. There's no name on it at all. It's big. The oven is up to temperature. I have tried this at 350 and 325. It's just too hot. Once you put that lid on there, it's extra hot inside of the pan. I may even try 280 at some point, but not today. It's not quite of a fast sear like I normally do because I didn't want to overheat everything. But it's going to sear, which is supposed to keep the flavor in. Now, sometimes I cut this up actually into about 4 pieces or 5. But today I'm trying to save some time. One of my favorite symbols in the kitchen is the rooster. The first time I heard about making the beef like this was when somebody made carnivore tacos. They're pretty much animal based. The shells are made out of pure mozzarella shredded cheese that are arranged in a circle on a parchment paper on a plate and put into the microwave for 1.5 minutes. That sounds like a long time, but it works out quite well. You wait a few seconds and then you try to turn it over a fork or a long handled spoon and make it folded. Other animal-based things that you can put in your tacos, other than some taco seasoning, which is not animal-based, would be some sour cream and some cheese. They're very, very good. Since I didn't cut this in 4 pieces, I'm going to go ahead and try to sear a little bit on the sides. And then I'm going to turn it over and try to sear the top side a little bit. Okay, it's kind of getting a little overheated again. So what I'm going to do is quickly put on the Worcestershire sauce and my distilled water that I have here in my distilled water machino. That is called I don't know the name of it. Some people are pretty tempted to put some soy sauce in there. I think it's fine. I mean, really, you're not like adding 17 pounds of sugar or anything to it. A bunch of vegetables. So here goes the water now. Probably put a little more than I normally do. But I have also had this water cook off, so I don't want that to happen tonight. I'm exhausted, as you may be able to tell. So I'm not going to be able to watch it that carefully in the 3 hours while it's cooking. We have to hope for the best. Stand by for 3 hours and you'll see the result. A bunch of meat they can put in the refrigerator and use for several meals.